What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I have another requested tops list for you to share with you guys today. Now today I will be going over my top 5 favorite original movie villains. Now this list was actually requested to me by a good friend of mine going by the name of Nicholas Bodo, and originally he actually kind of wanted me to just do a top 10 list video going over my top favorite movie villains, but because there's kind of so many diversities and it could be separated into so many categories where you could have original movie villains, comic book movie villains, science fiction movie villains, I just decided to kind of just morph it down to just original movie villains. So there won't be any like Darth Vader or Loki, Joker, none of those guys from other medias. They had to have been created originally in the movies. So with that being said, starting off with number 5 on this list, it is the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. Now I will go on record and say that out of any innovative original creature created in cinema, the Xenomorphs were definitely frightening, especially when we got to Aliens, James Cameron's Aliens. I mean, it's scary enough to deal with one of them when you don't really have like real weapons in a ship, an alien, but when you deal with a whole horde of them and they're just swarming your position, even if you're like a badass colonial marine in Aliens, you could still be overwhelmed. It is a pretty scary situation. Now I know that the Aliens franchise really hasn't been on a good run as of lately with Alien 3 and Aliens Resurrection, both the AVP movies, and then Ridley Scott tried to go back with Prometheus, and that didn't really turn out too well. But for the two really great iconic movies that we do have the Xenomorphs for, with Alien and Aliens, they really do seem very, very scary and intelligent creatures, and it's probably the one type of creature in the galaxy I would never want to encounter, and that's why it's number 5 on this list. Going on into number 4 is a villain that really terrified me as a child, and even to this day I still kind of get like an eerie feeling every time I see him on screen, and that is Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now, the reason that Judge Doom to me was very creepy is aside the fact that he was played by Christopher Lloyd, who a lot of people don't even give him credit for playing other characters besides Doc Brown from Back to the Future. But it takes a really sick person to kill a tune. I mean, the guy invented something called the dip, which was apparently the only way you can actually kill a cartoon. And that scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where he is taking this little cute red shoe and he is dipping it into this dip, and it is dying, and it is just hard to watch. I mean, imagine being a 5-year-old kid seeing that. I mean, cartoons aren't supposed to die. I mean, they get injured, or, you know, they get little, you know, stars or little birds around their heads, but oh, that was just a terrible death scene. I mean, that's just traumatizing. And he's the only one to do that, so that puts him in a class by himself, and that's why he's number 4 on this list. Going on to number 3 is a very, very intimidating villain, but one of our creation, and that is HAL 9000 from 2001 Odyssey. Now, many villains, when they like to, you know, show their intensity, you know, they kind of like to get angry, but the thing about HAL is, it was always creepy how no matter what he did, he was kind of always at a steady toned voice, and it was always creepy no matter what he says. And it's the fact that HAL was a creation of our own that turned against us because he was so keen at focusing on this objective of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil, that anyone, despite the very creators, if anyone threatened that, he would kill them without any sense of remorse. It's just how he did. That's how he was programmed. We made him to be this way, and we didn't think ahead far enough to really think that maybe we shouldn't be making stuff like this. And he even had a very, very intimidating way of seeming very sincere, and like seeming that he was sorry and that, you know, maybe I'm just malfunctioning, but no, Hal always knew what he was doing. And it was so satisfying to see the ending of that movie, because I gotta tell you, I would never want to hear a voice like that in my dreams. That would just haunt me for a long time. Going on into number 2, we have an original villain, which many consider to be probably the prime cinematic villain of all time, and I happen to agree. And that is Hans Gruber from Die Hard. These Hans, come on. How many of you have not seen Die Hard, which is arguably the greatest action film ever made? I mean, that guy pretty much solidified how you do a villain properly. And not just any villain, but a memorable villain. He was charming. He was calculating. He was very calm. Didn't really panic too much till probably the end of the film. And he seemed to have a set goal, and he didn't let anyone get in his way. And he didn't really seem to get too angry about it. I mean, when he says he wants that money bonds, and he wants the password to, I forget that Asian guy's name, forgive me. I just love that scene where he's just talking to him in a very calm voice. He's like, I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to kill you. And in a very calm way, he just does it and moves on. And that's really the type of villain that you kind of love to hate. The type of villain that you know he's evil, but you love seeing him work. And very few villains in probably the past 20 years have really been able to achieve that. But when they have, they've been memorable. But it all started with Hans Gruber, and that's why he's number 2 on my list. And that brings me to number 1. Now, number 1, this villain to this day is very creepy to me, and probably the one I'm most scared of. Now, this guy is not just my favorite original villain. This is my favorite villain in cinema history. Way above Heath Ledger's Joker. Way above any Disney villain. Hell, even way above Darth Vader, which I think Darth Vader is a very overrated villain. And that is the T-1000 from Terminator 2. That guy, that thing, is just cold, heartless, destructive, unstoppable, killing being. I mean, I would say killing machine, but he's not really a machine. He's liquid metal. But what I really liked about the T-1000 and Robert Patrick's performance of it is that he really didn't look very intimidating. I mean, when you first see him, he's kind of a skinny guy, doesn't seem very, very muscular, and he wears a cop uniform the whole time, so, you know, always trust a cop. So it's kind of scary to see someone who's not very physically imposing being able to whoop the Terminator's ass all throughout the film. And no matter what you do to this guy, he comes back. You could shoot him 1,000 times and he'll come back. You could blow him up. You could do all sorts of things. You could probably drop him out of a plane. I'm not sure about a nuke. I'm not sure where you could get a nuke. Maybe you wouldn't survive something like that. But it's just the fact this guy is so focused and so dead center on killing John Connor that it makes it look scary. Like, this guy has this cold stare when he kills someone. I will never forget probably the scariest scene I ever saw as a kid. And imagine being like 5 or 6 years old in that hospital scene where, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's getting coffee, and he walks all over the T-1000, and he's a shapeshifter. That makes him even more scary. And he pops up, and he morphs into the cops and the security guys, and then all he does is he points his finger and just like stabs right through the guy's head, and he's just standing there just cold. Like, when he kills someone, he literally does not care. And it's really difficult to pull that off. Some people like to make a little quitty little joke, or like have some type of laughter or enjoyment when killing someone. But no, when he kills someone, he just kills you like it's nothing. It doesn't bother him, because he wants to kill John Connor, and he will stop at nothing to achieve that goal. And that is why, even to this day, he is my number 1 favorite original and favorite movie villain of all time. Now, I really would like to know, what are some of your guys' favorite original movie villains? Tell me to listen in the comments down below, and if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me in my future movie, video game reviews, and top 10 list videos like this one. And if you guys have any more ideas that you would like me to do, please type them in the comments down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.